Okay, take two. My internet went out, so hopefully this will work. Um, okay, so the anatomy of resistance. So this came through from a client. She's tagged here. She said I could share this and also tag her. And which is appropriate because it's from her, right? And in a way, which I'll explain a little bit through her design, I'm kind of borrowing on her powers to even share this with you. um, so here's what we were looking at is that Karen is she's a manifesting generator. Now manifesting generators are designed to move quickly and skip steps. And they have this powerful life force here to respond, as generators are. And it's all about that responsive life force. It's just like it says or it says nothing at all based on what satisfies that being. And when that being is satisfied, that's a benefit to all of us, especially being that generators are 70% of the planet and create the life force frequency field that we all live in, whether we are generators or not. So if you're a generator, just to know, like, you're powerful. You know, if you're frustrated, like, not only are you suffering, but so are those around you. So anyway, Karen is a manifesting generator. They move quickly and skip steps. Sometimes they have to go back and redo the steps. And yet, even if you're not a manifesting generator, this might be able to help you because we all have some version of this. So, two scenarios. One was, where she was with somebody and she had this urge to just sprint away. She just wanted to go. She wanted to move quickly away from that person or that environment or whatever it was. There's not even time to know. By the time that your mind starts trying to understand and form a thought about it, it's already happened. So she had noticed that she had that impulse and she didn't do it because she had judgments about it. I can't just leave now. And so there's one example. And then another one was, and it was very uncomfortable for her. So she had to sit there and endure frustration because she didn't go with what her body had asked for. And then here's another one that was a breakthrough, was that she was at an event where she was helping out, and she was like, there were lots of attractive men around. And she was there to work, but she just went and she laid down on a couch for a moment, for a little bit. She just felt like lying down. She felt like not moving quickly. And when she let herself do that, all of a sudden, she started getting all this attention from all these attractive men in the environment. They noticed her. So what we're looking at is that basically, like, this resistance that comes up, that when it needs to wait for something, which she did correctly for herself in the case of laying down on the couch, but most of the time when her body didn't actually have a response to be in action, her mind would generate one. Her mind would come up with something to push an action. And yet she was being called to wait. So there's one way that resistance would be created, and then she would feel frustrated, right? Because her mind's like, come on, let's get things going. Body is saying no, and then she's forcing body to do something that it doesn't want to do. So that is resistance. She's like, judging herself that she should be in action when she's not feeling that correctly for herself. Flip side of that, all of a sudden she has body wants to move. Ready to go, ready to do something, wanting to just jet out of the space of someone or an environment, And I mean, hey, this is why I love the bathroom, because nobody's really going to ask you questions. You can always go to the bathroom. But she didn't do it. And instead she waited. Instead she held back. There's another way that resistance is created. And, her body was ready to move. And it might have just been for that little bit, because she recognized that her mind is scared of that quick thing. Like, whoa, like when it's in action, it's scared when the body is ready to go in action, but it's also scared when the body wants to rest. Either way, the mind is judging. And if she listens to that, my friends, is the anatomy of resistance. So for yourself, no matter what type you are in human design, or if you even know your human design type, if you're just joining, this person I'm talking about is a manifesting generator. So she was, when her body was in action, she was not going into action. When her body wanted to rest, she was pushing it into action. But it really can work that way for all of us, one way or another, to begin to actually go, whoa, like I am actually feeling that energy to move or to say something, or to do something, and I'm holding back. Or my body just wants to do nothing, wants to lie down, wants to eat a snack, and I'm pushing it with shoulds. Usually shoulds are a great cause of resistance. And what happens is that then we're in gridlock. Then we're stuck, which this has been illuminating for me, witnessing this in Karen, who volunteered to have me share her story about this breakthrough, because I had recently learned in design that stuck is a characteristic of generator, not self, which is interesting because generators have all this energy to go and to move. And so to actually look at how someone with this powerful life force can just gum up their own works and actually be the opposite of what they are. So interesting. So I said at the beginning that I'm borrowing Karen's powers to share this. I say that because she's also on the cross of explanation, and she has a connection from her ajna to her throat, and also just directly to her sacral. Like that's all she has, and so I only have half of that channel of explanation. And so it was really cool to see like how when we come together, we create other energies and we kind of can lend our superpowers to other people. And I'm sure that I could have, if Karen were here, which I haven't seen her popping on. If Karen were here, I probably could have explained that a little more succinctly. But oh, yeah, you said it's good timing. Why? I'm curious if you want to share that. So, yeah, when are you pushing yourself to be still when you need to move and to move when you need to be still? Pretty simple. Why do we do that? It's that, this coach I had a number of years ago, Charles Zook, he would talk about the neural net, which is the neural network, which is the mind essentially. And that the mind is like it's always going to be scared of what it doesn't know yet. And so no matter what the experience is trying to protect you or protect itself or whatever, from just the unknown. And so like the first time you do something, a lot of times you'll have to overcome that neural network voice of like, this isn't safe. It's not a good idea. You should do something else. And then once you overcome that first time, it gets easier and easier as the mind gets more familiar with it. And then before long, and this is how the mind adapts and can still fuck with you, is that then it's all on board. Like, it's a great idea. So we really can get very stuck and be ruled by resistance, which that sucks, if we're listening to that initial voice that's saying, this isn't a good idea, it's not safe, you should do the opposite of what you feel. Yeah, it says too much to type, but I seriously just finished having this conversation with 3 people about resistance. Yeah, you and I we're pretty hooked in about letting go of blame and just being. And I saw Yassina on here. I know you're a mental projector, aren't you? Is there anything you want to share about that? Because mental projectors don't have any motors, but yeah, as projectors, I'm a projector, and so is we have to, sometimes there's energy there, and hey, sometimes there's energy there, and sometimes it's not. I mean, for a generator, they have like this consistent experience of their energy, even though as a manifesting generator, it may seem more random, but it's there. Yeah, so what do you see, Yassina? I hope I'm saying that right. Because it's kind of like we have this metaphor that we use quite a bit as in the projector group of being a sailboat. And it's like, well, when there's wind and you've got your sails up, you can catch, you can catch some energy, and then sometimes there's just no wind, and sometimes you don't want to put your sails up. Yeah, having a really busy mind. Yeah, I'm mental. I have a defined head in Ajna, but I also have a couple motors. It seems like, every design to me seems like becoming like a master martial artist. But there's something in particular about being a mental projector that I wonder about. What have you found works for you to recognize when you have some authentic energy to move? Because most of the time it's probably a wait or a rest kind of impulse from your authentic sense in your body. I know there's a little bit of a delay on the comments sometimes, so I'll just wait a second. But yeah, if you're just joining me, I'm talking about like how we create resistance is when you have movement, you have authentic movement coming from your body to be in action, and you stop it, usually through a judgment of the mind to not move or being scared of it, or the flip of it is when you actually just need to rest and be in action, not in action, that then we create an action and push through. And that being only ahead is a blessing and also challenging. Yeah. That's funny because I've been talking to quite a few generators lately who have no head, like they're undefined in the head in the ajna. And we've been talking about the benefits of just like being like a balloon head person, like they have this like body that's just juicy and powerful, and they don't need to think. But yeah, people like us, we have a consistent mind. If you don't know about design, what I'm talking about is that there are these centers, they're like chakras, different kind of energy centers. And when they're defined, you have a consistent experience of that energy. When they're undefined, what happens is that you have an inconsistent experience of that energy. When you experience it is when you're around someone else who has it, or when there is like an activation going on in the cosmos, and then you get access to it. But and sometimes, a lot of times, we get really hooked on that, like thinking that that's ours, or we're trying to get it or have it be consistent, and it just isn't. So that again can be a place where we create resistance, because it's like, ooh, well, I remember like yesterday I had all this energy and I cleaned the whole house and I got all this work done and I called all these people. And then today I don't have that energy, but I should. And so I'm going to push myself to be like that. For those of us who are projectors, who there's quite a few who've been on this, watching this today, we don't have a consistent energy to work. So like for someone like me, it's like, yeah, sometimes I have a shit ton of energy and I can run circles around generators. And then other times most of the time it's not like that. To be authentically me is more like, like guidance, work with people, taking naps, not taking naps with people, taking naps by myself, studying, but not so much doing that more energetic work. Okay, well, I don't know if Yasina's going to make it to make her statement about being a mental projector and how that works for her. But if anybody else has any questions or observations, this is last call. And thank you, Karen, for saying I could share your story. If you came in partway through, go back and watch the beginning. And I tell about where this came from a manifesting generator. She said, I know my husband is a manifesting generator. He doesn't understand how I can be so productive some days, but extremely lazy other days. Yeah. And, I find actually, I think generators struggle with that word lazy more than we do. Hard to believe, but they often feel like they're not doing enough, which is like where that comes from, that part of the anatomy of resistance that I'm saying is like, well, when they actually are in resting mode, that their mind is judging that they should be doing more, that it's lazy to be resting. When it's really how batteries get restored, or it's just the body saying, that's just not for me. It's not a good way to use my energy. Yep. Okay, y'all. Well, thank you for coming on live and thank you for watching the recording too. And feel free to pop any other comments in there. And love you. Have a good day. Bye.